best reviewed animated film of 2025. So,
Yeah.
So please allow me to welcome to the stage first we have voice actor Mr. Huy Quan.
Yeah! Woo! Yeah!
Wow, thank you for being here, everyone.
Woo!
I want to take a poll really quick. How many have seen this movie for the first time tonight? Wow.
Awesome.
How many have seen it 2 times?
Yes!
Not bad.
That's
Sweet.
Yeah!
Wow. Okay, there we go.
I mean, they were singing along to this song, which I was like, that's a great mix. And then I was like, no, these are adult singers. I think that's the infectious nature of this project, Zootopia. I don't know if it's the animals, the writing, or the message, but people love it. So Byron, I'm going to start with you. Because people love the first Zootopia so much, and it was literally one of the most successful things ever in the history of animation. That's a hard act to beat. When did you know you had the story that you wanted to go back to this world?
Oh, it's true. You know, it took us. Well, the anniversary of Zootopia 1 is in a couple of days. So March 4th. 10-year anniversary. It's crazy. It went by very quickly. If you guys have heard us talk before, you know that Jared, Yvette, and I went right on to Encanto right after.
Yes! Yes!
We went right onto that film for 4 years right after we finished Zootopia. And so once that film was done, though, Jared was right back into it. He did a little sketch. I tell the story a lot. He did a little sketch that said Zootopia 2. And Gary the Snake, he was there already.
Yeah!
He was cast. The world changed for us. But no, honestly, we had always talked about reptiles being out there in this world, and many, many other species as well, but that first film had to be limited just to mammals. But Key's character, Gary, as a stepping stone into the world of reptiles was perfect, and honestly, it's like all of our principals, we got our first choices. Like, we're so happy that Key said yes, because you're Gary. You're just like this.
Yeah!
Way too generous. I was excited to be asked to be in this movie.
I mean, I was going to go there next, so you've already like TBO, because when you do come back, one of the things that I thought it was just divine intervention that y'all were like, no, we already know the story for the snakes. They're going to be in like the sequel, but I love how that was where you wanted to explore it. Talk about, joining with Key and when was that first moment in the booth where you were like, this is the guy, I cannot believe what he brought to this game.
I'm going to do this.
Well, honestly, we were aware of Key before Key even knew we were thinking of him. But I know it was during the Oscars. So, when did you go on Colbert when you were?
Yeah, it was before I won the Oscar.
Before you won the Oscar, right?
Woo!
So we were at the Oscar lunch the other day, and what they do is when the Oscar nominees all get together, they bring you into a big room, they take a big class photo, and they also show you a video of how to give a good speech. And they show, it's like 3 or 4 minutes of great, moving, funny, sincere speeches, and the top speech of them all, when they end the video with how to do it right, is you.
Yeah!
He's the best. And honestly, it's like we had seen him go on Colbert, and he's a big Stephen Colbert fan, and he was so upset that he didn't get to meet Stephen in person on that red carpet, and so they had missed each other, but the enthusiasm that he showed on that Colbert show was so infectious that Jared saw it, and one of our animators saw it, and we're like, oh my god, he's got to be Gary. So Adam Green, our lead animator on Gary, literally took your dialogue from the Stephen Colbert interview and animated it as Gary. And once we saw it, it was like, that was done. Did they show that to you when they first
You know what's interesting? So I was, during the whole award season, I actually met Stephen Colbert at the New York Film Festival Awards, where I was given an award. And at the end of the award show, I looked around the room and there was Stephen Colbert, and I'm a big fan.
Yeah.
So shamelessly, I ran up to him, and I tapped him on the shoulder. He turned around, and I said, "Oh my God, Stephen, I'm a huge fan. I love you. I watch your show all the time. Can I take a selfie with you?" and we did. And my PR was there. The publicity people from A24 was there. And they asked me, they said, "Keith, would you want to be on the Stephen Colbert show?" I said, "Are you kidding? That would be a dream come true." And that's how that that I ended up getting the part. I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy. And then once he came in, it's like everything you see, that this is him. He's so perfect and wonderful. He's a being on the planet, and that's why Gary is so sweet. I think the fact that we knew Gary was going to be a hit when you said yes, but we didn't know that with Key's voice behind Gary's heart, that he would become the heart of the movie. Really, he was the heart of that mystery and why people cared about the mystery that Hobbs and Nick are pursuing. In fact, when we went to preview with an audience very much like this, usually when we show a preview, it's about 75% storyboard. We had a little bit of Key cut in, not very much, but people loved that character so much. They had all sorts of questions about the family, about like the return to Zootopia, and those sequences at the end were added because they cared about your character so much. And I'm going to tell you, there's a little teaser scene coming up right behind you. So for those of you who haven't seen, is there a way to bring the sound back up on the movie so you can hear what
I
this
mean,
is?
y'all are just asking a lot.
Yeah, there we go.
Love you, partner.
Oh.
Love you, partner.
Hey, buddy, you gonna keep playing that old night? Leave her alone. She's proud of herself, but still seeks external validation. You shut up. You shut up. Hey, buddy, what's next for you two?
We're investigating a rabbit who strangled her neighbors.
You offended her. You offended her. Shut up.
Good night.
Chicken.
Yeah, so anyway, great props to the projectionist. Great job.
Ivan!
Yes, so anyways, and it's honestly, it's like, so he really became the heart of the movie, and the fact that the preview audience was like, where's Gary's family? Are they going to come back? Like, where is this lost reptile ravine? There was a lot of that we did not have in the movie yet before that preview audience, so we kind of came back and said we really need to double down on your backstory, and because people loved you and they wanted to see that story get resolved. And Key actually had this amazing. This happens too. Is like in the booth, which is a really uncomfortable situation for many actors. Like some actors in the past I've known have pulled their curtain because they don't like us watching them. Not on our films, not on the Zootopia films or Tangled or anything like that. But some actors are just not very comfortable being watched as they kind of do these weird things in front of the mics. But Ginny and Josh and Jason and Key and Fortune are just so great. You're great performers. And Key had this wonderful idea that wound up in the movie that I just love. There's this amazing moment when Judy has been poisoned, and Gary is freezing cold, and he's crawling across the floor to her, and he realizes that he can warm himself up with her body. He needs his permission to hug, and that's very dramatic and it's very clever, and I would love that Jared had written that. But Key suggested that after the family comes back at the end, at the warm reunion, that he goes back to Judy and says permission to hug. She nods, and then the family wraps her up in a big hug. So that came from Key.
Woo!
Such an amazing thing. It's the fact that, when these guys come in to do these roles, they're not just hired guns. Like they're people who really participate in the storytelling and make the story better.
I gotta say something. Jared and Byron and Yvette, they are so generous and kind, and their humility inspires me because they're so quick to give someone else's credit, but so reluctant to take one for their own. So, yeah.
Well, he is a new bachelor as well.
Oh. Yeah.
Congratulations on the film. Like it's really incredible. I'm gonna get to ask this one question now because I feel like y'all have talked so much about it. We have to talk about our buddy duo at the top of this. And what Jason and Jenny, their chemistry that is recorded separately, but like you can feel it. It echoes throughout it. So talk about where you decided to place them in this one and how interesting like the reception to that is, because I think people were very intrigued with this new dynamic between, the leads.
No, it's true. I mean, I don't know where you guys fall on which side of the fence, whether you want them together or.
Yeah. Zootopia 3. Family marriage.
But I think honestly, Jared and I have been aware of that for the last decade, and we love that it's a conversation out there because they do have incredible chemistry, and that's really rare because usually with these films they're either a romance or they're clearly not. And there's something about the two of them that, in this movie especially, like with that sort of the emotional when they spill their guts, that scene on top of the weather ball. They're soulmates in a great way. Like they are literally the most important person in the other's life, and so I love that it sort of just like rides the line between romance and deep friendship and stuff like that. And it's great. I think that chemistry is great. I'd love to
I'm gonna put my money on. They're gonna go on a date.
Yeah!
I'll place a bet on that.
No, it's great that you say that because you're right. I think there's people that are, nobody feels lukewarm about this. I will say that. Y'all all have very strong opinions. But I think it's a testament to what y'all do in the booths. Like, people here have an experience it with voice acting, I think, is like the most essential acting that you can do. And when I talk to folks like yourselves who have these incredible and stellar careers, I will say in this new chapter of your career, you've done some amazing stuff. But talk about what you got to do in this voice acting performance that you hadn't done before. Because I know Gary probably tested you a little bit, and that's saying a lot when a man knows everything everywhere all at once.
Yeah!
Thank you. I'm the new kid. Not only in Zootopia too, but also to voice acting too. I've done pretty much mostly live action. And with live action, you get to read a script, you get to show up, you get to interact with your fellow actors, and you have a physical a set to play with. With voice acting, it's completely different. You're in a booth with your director. I didn't get to read the entire script. I only read all the scenes that my character was in, so I had no clue what the story was about. And honestly, there was no visual except a drawing of Gary the Snake, the poster, behind me, and that was all I had to go off of. So I had to put all my faith in our directors. They know what they're doing, and if I can get their validation, it means that I'm doing a good job. But what's really interesting about voiceover versus live action is that I feel like I only bring half the performance to a character. It's the animators that brings the other half. They give my character facial expressions, body movement, which is as equally as important as my contribution to the character. So it's really, when we talk about the collaboration, that it can be more so with animated films. And being a part of this, honestly, I've been thinking about quite a bit the last couple of days since we won BAFTA, which I'm super, super excited about. And also, being the highest grossing animated film.
Yeah, just beat Minecraft!
I'll say this. Yes, I'm very happy about that, but I'm even more proud when I think about how many people we invited to the movie theater. Especially during a time when this conversation about movie going is dying out. Nobody are watching movies in the theater. So when I think about our movie, I think about all those things. My wife is from China. So when this movie played in China, her friends were texting her, and they were saying, I've never seen so many people at a movie theater. And they were just so excited. So being a part of this, that's, I'm so proud of that, and I just feel so grateful to be along for the ride for this one.
Listed a lot of new folks for this ride. He's not the only one, but the thing I don't think you need to talk as much about is being in this 10 years later, the technology and a lot of the things that you guys, for example, did with things like Encanto. You can apply them to Zootopia, but if you go too far, you remove it from what made the original. Talk about how you and your co-directors balance updating the look of Zootopia to match the 2026 audiences without losing some of the, I don't want to say the grit, because it was still cutting edge technology at the time, but essentially what it was as far as the snapshot of technology at that time.
Oh, sure. Well, even 10 years ago, fur was a big deal for us 10 years ago because we had 65 species of animals. They were not only just different species of mammals with different fur for every single animal, but they're all wearing different clothes, and we had thousands of them in the city. And this movie, in the 100 years that Disney Animation has existed, the movie you just watched is the most complex movie that this animation has ever made. It has, well, usually our movies have between 1,500 and 1,700 shots. This one has, I think, 2,100 shots. There's a couple shots in there where you have between 50 and 60,000 animals on the screen at the same time with the burning mammal. Which is crazy, and a huge compliment to our crowds team, because that isn't placed by machine. That is hand-done animation. Like our crowds animators are all. Yes, the thing that the public doesn't realize is that how much precision and handcraft goes into every frame. Like every board, every piece of wood that is laid down in the piers in Marsh Market. There's all this great storytelling that's going on in those crowd shots, and like they bring them as part of it. If you look at the background, when Nibbles is talking to the walrus who becomes the boat, there's a hippo party barge going on back there. There are all sorts of little stories. So like when you get this thing in your home, pause it as you're going through the more dense scenes, and just look around. And everything in there is just beautiful enough to be right in front of the camera. But just the fact that there's so much care that goes into it is great. But in order to do that, we had to allow our team to be able to work on shots at the same time. It used to be that you'd get a shot, you'd pass it down the line from animation to from layout to animation to lighting. But in this movie, we use technology developed by Pixar called Presto. The nice thing about being a sister studio to Pixar is over the years, as we develop technologies, we share it. Like if they like our lighting technology, they'll use it in their film. If we like what they're doing animation-wise, as far as like the rigging and technology, we'll use theirs. And so we share that between us. And using Presto in this film, we had to rebuild Judy and Nick and a lot of the new, like Gary is in Presto, Nibbles is in Presto, but some of the characters like Clawhauser and Bogo, we needed to keep in Maya, which is the old system. And so the rule was that no characters from Presto can ever touch characters from Maya. And they said, we cannot do that. And of course, we did it all the time. And we ruined people's days, but it actually worked out. So I was kind of transitioning to these new systems. It's invisible when you see it in the movie, but the fact that there's so much technology. There's even some special snake technology that was designed for your character called Scoot, S-C-U-T-E. And that's because tree vipers, like Gary is, have these beautiful scales that as they move, if you make it stretch, it looks like it's sort of a stocking, and it looks really fake. So this technology allows our animators to move Gary the way he needs to, and have every single scale, and I think there are 20 or 30,000 of them, move perfectly like a tree viper's would. So look how accurate you are. Based on research. Yeah.
I mean, that was a deep animation nerd. No, seriously though, when they're talking Aperture on these like Kodak videos, you know what I mean? Like, it's really dope. I love hearing about the crafts of it. And just to, again, we're gonna bring it back to performances, but I want to ask one more because that one was so good. In addition to all the technology that you did around the visuals, I feel like the Encanto, you were like, we gotta make sure we get some bops this time around. So like, you really added into the music, I think, as well. Talk about the scoring and of course, the choices that you made for the songs.
Oh yeah, well Giacchino, he's a miracle. Yeah, yes, Mike Giacchino. He's so versatile. He's the most versatile composer working in Hollywood today. And Zootopia 1 was the first Disney film, Walt Disney animation film that he had done. He did a bunch of Pixar films, but he chose to jump in with us on that first film, and man, it's like he loves all genres of music, and he can switch back and forth like an expert. We asked him to do these films, and he doesn't have to do just one style. He has to do many styles. He has to do swing music and noir and jazz and zydeco and all sorts of. And so he's the perfect guy to do this. So he's a master to see him work. And Key was on the stage with us at Warner Brothers because we used the Eastwood stage to bring in nearly 100-piece live orchestra, and to see those guys sight read this beautiful music that Mike has put together and spend a week. It's this most amazing part of the process for us, because by that time, most of the animation's done. So Jared and I, you had to kind of sit back and just enjoy just a remarkable performance. But Michael's an absolute genius, and then Shakira and Ed Sheeran. Blake is producer. Like on Zoo was amazing. Again, there was such a great vibe from Shakira and Sia on the first film, Try Everything, and music is a huge part of all Disney movies, but I love that this movie really relies on great score, great songs, and that propulsive energy that lifts you up. And just seeing at the end there, that concert at the end of the credits where you get to enjoy like all the people who worked so hard and just really enjoy a great movie moment.
I really do that. And we need Cashin Hero.
Yes.
He will bring it to you because the film is an allegory for much deeper messages about inclusion, takes too long, and so many of the other things that were part of the first film. But when you're part of the most successful animated movie of all time, people want to talk to you about it. I'm curious if you can share one of your favorite reactions to the film, your inclusion, or some of those, like I say, sort of fable type moments within it that help teach families lessons.
Yeah, I have a big story, but first of all, I was a huge fan of Zootopia 1 and the message of that, which is, anyone can be anything. And that was why I fell in love with the first one. With this one, there was a great line from Gary the Snake, and he says about how, the world's responsibilities should not fall on one's shoulder. But then when Gary said it, he says, that's because I don't have any shoulders. But that line really resonated with audience in China. And just because of the Chinese culture, how they feel this huge responsibility, this huge burden of carrying their family's legacy, whatever, their parents given them, to move forward with it. So they feel like very weighed down by it. And when they heard this line from Gary, they were ecstatic. They just felt I remember reading so many wonderful comments about leaving the theater feeling a lot lighter, and it made them, just got to enjoy the moment, just enjoy being themselves. Being themselves is just enough. They don't need to carry all these burdens, and that really resonated with me. And again, that's what I love about this movie, and also movies from Disney as well too. They somehow found this secret ingredient where, they're not only are they entertaining, but you walk away and the themes, the messages that these, this one came with. It's just so wonderful. And then there's so many more too. It's not just that one, but I love everything about it.
I don't want to give you. I don't want to not give you an opportunity, Byron, to add something that anyone has shared with you.
Oh yeah, no, honestly, again, because that Gary's story became so central, and this idea of the movie being all about differences between Nick and between Judy, with reptiles being mothered and Sid from the city, and I think thinking back to my own theater going experiences, like moments where families are reunited at the end, like Joy Luck Club and Color Purple. It broke my those moments really broke my heart. But it's so wonderful to see the restoration of something that's been of a wrong that's been in place for such a long time. And so I think that's why again going back to those preview audiences, and that's what we learn and showing these things to fresh eyes. It's like that's why you just had this great charm to you, and your chemistry with Judy, with Ginny, in this film was really remarkable. And I think that's the best. I think across the board, no matter what studio does these films, I think our bread and butter is really character. It's character and it's growth between characters, and those precious little things that happen, those emotional things, matter more than all the eye candy and technology and stuff like that. If it doesn't have that, if it doesn't have the heart, I don't think it really resonates, and it doesn't give you something to take home with you. So fingers crossed, we'll always try to deliver that, and thank you, Keith, for being a huge part of that.
Thanks for letting me go on this ride.
Watching